This is the tale of the Seven Dragon by me, Eric. The first thing I want to show you guys is the pedigree map of my family dragon. On the left side is my pure red dragon, and this is the F1 generation dragon. This is the F2 generation, and this is the F3 generation. On the right side is the one who was made with me in the F2 generation, and Tường was made with Johnny in the F1, and Johnny was made with Young in the first dragon, the pure red dragon. The dragon I want to talk about first is Hahagugu. Hahagugu is a F2 generation dragon. He has 10 chromosomes that are homozygous, which means he is a homozygous dominant. He is a crossbred from many generations. He has lots of traits that came from his great grandpa and grandma passing to his dad and mom generation. Hahagugu has a four-toed phenotype come from his mom gene, and the gene is heterozygous, which means they are incompletely dominant. Even though he has a beautiful toes, but they are two phenotypes that are very cool that I want to talk about him. The first gene is fire breathing. It's a dominant gene, the capital F and little f. Another cool gene is neck length. It's a incomplete dominant, which means um, capital N, and that is homozygous. Um, and which means in the last generation, no one gave him a recessive allele. This Bibi Gugu, the F2 generation dragon. Bibi Gugu is a homozygous dominant dragon. In the last generation, his dad had given him a recessive allele in the horn trait, but his mom donated one dominant allele. Then Baby Gugu now has a beautiful medium horns. He also has a nice medium neck. He is heterozygous also, and a hair genotype is incomplete dominant. Baby Gugu also has a fire breathing trait. Is heterozygous. So in the next generation, F3, he can either share one dominant allele and or one recessive allele is later and to his lovely son or daughter. Ubuagaga is a F1 generation dragon. His dad is a Japanese dragon, and his mom is the largest dragon on planet X. Bubugaga has a lot of traits and phenotype that came from his parents. Bubugaga received fire breathing trait from the gene of his dad and also from his mom. Uh, his they, his parents they are both heterozygous. He received one dominant allele from his dad and one recessive allele from his mom, and now he has an incomplete gene is capital F and little f. Ubugaga doesn't have horn because his genotype of horn is homozygous dominant and recessive allele. In the next generation, his son might not have horn because if the mom donate one dominant allele, the baby maybe will have a medium Q horn. This Kamikaze, one of the purebred dragons in Planet X. Kamikaze is a purebred dragon that came from Japan. This dragon is a heterozygous dominant. For most of his genes, his color gene is incomplete dominant, which means he has two alleles that are little r and little r. Kamikaze can have and donate one of the dominant allele that he has from the fire breathing trait to his son in the F1 generation dragon. This Gugusi. Gugusi is a F2 generation dragon. Her parents got inspired by the famous luxury brand Gucci and named her after it. Gucci is a nice dragon. It is homozygous dominant. Gucci has a long horn and the gene is incomplete dominant, and that is a combination of two dominant alleles, which means she has um, capital H and capital H. Rusi has color pattern homozygous gene from his F1 parents. Color pattern is dominant allele, which means she has capital R and capital R. Red Windsurfer received the gene from two purebred dragons. Red Windsurfer is a F1 generation dragon. She is a heterozygote dominant, the same as the genotype and phenotype from the last generation. Example like the color pattern trait 1, the gene is codominant, homozygous dominant, and exactly like the gene that the last generation had, capital R and capital R. Red Windsurfer can donate to the next generation F2 one of the dominant allele color pattern that she has. This is Saxon Red, one of the purebred dragon in Planet X, and it is hard to believe that Saxon Red doesn't have any red color pattern. So as we can see, the name can describe fully how Saxon Red looks. With the color pattern trait 1 is homozygous and dominant allele capital R and capital R. Saxon Red would definitely donate a dominant allele to her F1 generation. So this is the Jewett Eyes Punnett Square. So this is the Punnett Square from the purebred dragon that affect to the F1 generation. So as we can see, the dad is J and the mom is capital J, and there is no possibility to have Jewett Eyes until F1 and F2 generation. The mom is a carrier, just a little bit of Jewett Eye genotype, but there could be the possibility to have Jewett Eye for the kids. So right here is the letter J. Um, letter J over 4, which means there's 25% of the possibility to have the Jewett Eyes. So, and this is the F2 and F3 generation. The mom and dad, they not carry something about Jewett Eyes like letter J, so there's no possibility. So this is the result for Jewett Eyes. So I have listed out the this is the purebred affect the F1 generation. Female is double capital J and the male is J, so there's no possibility. The mom carry capital J and capital J, and that is also bring capital J, and the female has capital J and little j, and the male is capital J, so there's 25% of possibility that the mom and dad can have will be the next two kids. They're gonna have one is Jewett Eyes, and this F2 and F3 are dragons. The female is the same as the purebred that affect the F1 generation, and there's no possibility.